Hello and welcome to Khaartoum podcast number 8. I am your host of the most, Khaartoum, on YouTube and BitChute.com. And how are you? Can we talk today about Bollywood, an insulting colonial tag that Indian cinema should drop? Now, I saw this on an Al Jazeera report with classic Hindi superstar Amitabh Bachchan, and he was speaking about this, and as he said, up until a certain time where some stupid journalist somewhere put the word Bombay and Hollywood together, India's fine and unique cinema was called the Hindi films, or called Indian cinema. And somewhere this dreadful Bollywood tag stuck. And now what he complained about, he said the problem with Bollywood is the tag, is that it seems to diminish the importance of Indian cinema. It seems to diminish the autonomy, creative and political autonomy of Indian cinema, as if it's some sort of appendage to American cinema, which it isn't. He was sort of saying that Indian cinema must divorce itself and distance itself from this Bollywood tag, he said, because it is so stupid, it is so demeaning, it has such a colonial sort of, if it's not an insult, it's a, stereotyping, or it's a kind of denigrating, as if Hollywood was some sort of template that we all have to measure ourselves on, which it's not, particularly increasingly that Hollywood is becoming irrelevant because it's just stale, static, stagnant, and it produces a few good films now and again, like Jackie or like Snowden. There are a few, but it's not vibrant, and it's not something that is injecting at the moment. It may change, but it's not injecting, Hollywood's not injecting the kind of power and thrill and challenge that it did, say, in the 1960s with Betty Davis and these kind of films. So Amitabh Bachchan just said that India's film identity, the texture of the films, the history, the real identity of Indian cinema is so specific to India that it needs to be embraced in this way, particularly in the history of Indian cinema. And he was saying that it's important that we need to make a distinction that this is India's cinema. There was, in the past, the experiments with Hollywood, obviously in the 1930s, India, but there again, India did make films in the 1910s. But there would be some influence on Bombay in the 1930s, 40s, 50s. But then since the 60s, 70s, there has been a real, sprouting of its own commercial styles. And also its art styles like Shyam Benegal. And all of its regional cinema, Marathi cinema, Punjabi cinema, Tamil cinema. There is a problem now where we do have a modern gorified output of Indian cinema that is shameful and dreadful. The quote that people are often saying is, the new Indian films are so gorified that people are saying, why watch an American film in Hindi when you can just watch the original in English? And neither the Indian version nor the American version in the current manifestation is impressive. They're just disposable, forgettable sort of things. That may change, hopefully it will. Bollywood, an insulting colonial tag that Indian cinema must stop, and Indian cinema must, make a distinction and use the term Indian cinema or Bombay cinema or Hindi films. That is Khaartoum Podcast. What do you think? Tune in again to Khaartoum Podcast. Goodbye from Khaartoum.